My name is Mike Sherry. I am a freelance journalist. My solution spotlight story is about an initiative called Connected Communities, Thriving Families. And that is an effort by the Missouri Coalition for Children, essentially to relieve pressure on what many understand to be the overburdened foster care system. The social problem that the solution is trying to address really is putting too much pressure on a foster care system that is ill-equipped to handle the volume of calls and cases it needs to handle. The statutes require the state to remove a child if there's imminent danger. Oftentimes, these hotline calls are made when, on the surface, they may look neglected, but that's not because they're being abused or their parents are unfit. It could be simply because of, again, their poverty. What the Missouri Coalition for Children and what Connected Communities is trying to do is to ask these mandatory reporters to maybe pause real quick and say, okay, maybe if I connect this family to a social service agency that might be able to help them pay their water bill or work with a recalcitrant landlord, then this problem could be solved. The main premise of Connected Communities is that it is convening all sorts of community providers and stakeholders, all the entities within a community that come into contact with the Department of Social Services and the Children's Division, and bringing them all together in their home communities to really devise a local strategy that can address some of these social problems without the intervention of the state. There's one specific success. Various participants decided that what would really be a benefit would be a resource center, a one-stop shop where the courts could refer folks, the police, education, whoever would come in contact with this family, to a resource center that housed some of these agencies. They're piloting this in several different communities. One of their benchmarks for success will be each community setting up a system that fits their community rather than having a statewide nonprofit dictate what needs to happen. The success thus far has been convening folks, brainstorming a lot of different ideas that can then be narrowed down into achievable systems that each community can put into place. They have gotten all the various parties in one room hashing out potential solutions to a problem they all agree exists. The biggest limitation of this is the hesitancy among mandatory reporters. They're required to report to the state hotline when they suspect abuse and neglect. Convincing some of these mandatory reporters to take a step back, potentially at risk of their career if they make a wrong call, could open their agency up to litigation. If they refer someone to a social service agency and then it turns out that there really was a serious situation, you can make a dent in the foster care system and keep families together by getting people to discuss solutions. I would hope people walk away with an appreciation for the complexity of the foster care system, the difficulty in turning a ship that is fairly bound by rules and regulations. It can be done, and with what some would call relatively minor interventions can go a long way to alleviating stress on a foster care system that is falling under its own weight.
This story was produced through the Missouri Solutions Spotlight Project, which receives funding from Missouri Foundation for Health. Articles for this project were developed by regional journalists working independently of the foundation and supported by the staff of the Journal, a solutions-oriented nonprofit news outlet based at the Kansas Leadership Center. The foundation had no editorial involvement, including no control over the selection, focus of stories, or the editing process of Missouri Solutions Spotlight. Funders also do not review stories before publication.